Hi, everybody. I'm Robin, and these are my reflections. So, we have decisions between Divine Nature Oracle and the Wild Woman Rising Oracle. In these videos, I like to give reviews regarding two decks that I have in my collection that I think people might have trouble deciding between when they are looking to purchase a deck. Maybe they want one, not, or they don't know if they should purchase one or the other or both. And so, I like to just kind of give my kind of ideas and my thoughts on those decks if I have them in my collection, and just to kind of give people a tool, put a tool out there for people to use in case they're having trouble deciding between the decks, because I know that I often have trouble deciding between decks. So I like to make these sorts of videos to just kind of help. And I wanted to, I knew when I saw this one on the internet when it was in pre-orders that I wanted to do a video like this between these two, because I got this one for Christmas. And when I saw this one by the same writer, Angie Sullins, I thought, oh, I wonder if they're going to be similar. And because I wondered that, I figured other people were probably wondering as well. So let's get into this. Like I said, these are my opinions. These are a tool for you. This is just me using my decks and telling you about how I'm using them and what I think about them. That before, I do have unboxings of both. I will link them so that you can kind of get a look at those. I am not going to be doing an unboxing here, but I'm not going to do, like, if you want to see like a full walkthrough with readings from the guidebooks and pairings and all that, I have those. I'll link them. But today we're just going to kind of talk about how I'm using the decks and what I think about them. So as far as the production quality of these, they're the exact same. They come in the same box, the same type style box with this magnetic closure on the side. And they open up like a book. The boxes are both the size of the book guidebook, and then the inside of the cards are packaged like this inside of a very nice sturdy container where your cards won't slip around. They have ribbons. They're both beautiful boxes. I'm not going to get too deep into the guidebooks, but the guidebooks are similar, where this one has a poem at the front, the other one does not, and they get right into the card. There's an introduction about the deck and the inspiration behind it, and it gets right into the cards. And then in the back they have about the author, about the artist, and this one has a place for notes where the other one does not. So the Divine Nature, very similar. It has an introduction in the beginning, how to use the deck, and then gets right into the cards. And then in the back, about the artist and about the author. But there's no place for notes in this one. Like I said, small write-ups on the cards. You can pause that and read it if you would like to see how it writes. I do love this one because it has these sort of emblems at the bottom where you can kind of like put your finger here and, kind of think about what you're reading. I like that they're finger sized. I know they're just supposed to be decorations for the page, but I like that they're finger sized. And I like to think about why they chose these. And this one, it does have the decorations, but well, look, now that one's finger sized, but most of them are not. Most of them are like this. So, but they're beautiful books, full color images. I'll hold one there for you to read it if you would like to read one. And they get right, they have nice write-ups. So that's the books in the boxes, right? Pretty much the same as far as that goes. Now, the energy behind the decks is where I think they really diverge. I thought, and the artwork, because they have different artists. The artwork for the Divine Nature Oracle is Greg Spolenka, and the artwork for the Wild Woman Rising is Jenna Della Grattaglia. They are artists that make very different art. So the decks have very different artwork. They both came with these organza bags, just so you know. These came in the boxes, which I truly appreciate. Love that, because the boxes are large, and when I'm using the decks, I don't like to be in and out of boxes when I'm using decks. So I appreciate having those bags because the card stock on both of them is glossy, as you can see there. So, when they're sitting on the table, if you knock one, you could lose one. It's nice to have it so that the bag to contain them as they're sitting on my table. Otherwise, they would just be sitting just like this on my table, with no bag to contain them. So it's nice to have it. It's nice to have it. It's not necessary, but it's nice to have. These are the backs. So this is the Divine Nature, and this is the Wild Woman Rising. Now the Divine Nature Oracle has a beautiful gilding on the back of each card that is very mesmerizing. It's quite mesmerizing actually, and I actually really love it. It's is it does it make a difference when you're using the cards? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how you use your cards, you know. But for me, because of this beautiful back, it makes me want to fan out the cards and kind of like gaze into them before I pull and stuff like that. With this back, it's beautiful as well. It's smoky and it's pretty, but it's nowhere near for me as mesmerizing as this one. That does that matter when you're purchasing a deck? Probably not, but you know, it's worth a mention. So those are the backs. They're both gilded in gold. This one, the Divine Nature, which is on this side, is a cooler gold, and this one is a warmer gold, but they're both gilded in gold. It's the same, they are the exact same cardstock. There's nothing different there. Um, that shiny US Games cardstock. They both, you can see, they both shuffle very easily for me. So I wanted to start out by looking at them side by side here, just so that we could talk about the differences in the artwork as far as the way that the artists seem to be presenting the cards here and what I think about that. And then I will lay them out each deck so that you can kind of see them in a spread, like if you were going to see them spread out. So as far as the Divine Nature Oracle, now just so that you know, this is the Divine Nature Oracle here on this side. I don't know if that's your right or left, and this is the Wild Woman Rising on that one. Okay, so just right up front, you can see that one is bordered and one is not. Right, one only has the border at the bottom, and the other one has a lovely, fun border along the side. You can't really see it that well right there, but there you go. You can see it really well here. This border, this sort of cool, I think it's cool, border is the same on every card. It does change color. Some of them are brown, some of them are light brown. I tried to go through and see if I thought that there was like a difference between the ones that were light brown and brown. And I was like, oh, the ones that are light brown seem to be more like actions, and then the ones that are dark brown seem to be more like, you know, inner thoughts. And then I think I was just stretching, to be honest. Like, I don't think there's any real indication here as to, like, I don't think they were really going anywhere with it. But they might have been, but I think I might be stretching. If you know, if you have the deck and you know different, let me know in the comments below. um, but I will say I enjoy the borders on this one. So before we zoom out real quick, let's just talk about the size of the cards. These are slightly larger than tarot size. This is a regular tarot size card. And you can see that it is a little bit wider and a little bit taller. They're both the same size. So you can see probably better on the other card, but you can see here it's a little bit wider and a little bit taller. The cards are the same as each other, which we'll talk a little bit about later when I get into the artwork. How I wish this one was a little bigger. And this is a normal Oracle size, Hay House Oracle size card, so you can kind of see they are the same height and a little bit more narrow than a normal Oracle size card. So that is the size. Jenna Della Grataglia, who is the artist for The Wild Woman Rising, this one, is a collage artist. She's a photo collage artist, to be specific. So a lot of these images that you're going to see here are photo collage. Where Greg Spolenka, who is the artist for the Divine Nature Oracle, which is this one, he works in different mediums. Now, when I saw this deck, the Divine Nature Oracle, I went down a whole rabbit hole on his Instagram page. For about an hour, I was looking through his stuff, trying to see, like, get a feel for what kind of an artist this man is. And I discovered a couple of things. I'm not going to go too deep into it. You know, you can go down the rabbit hole and see what you think. Because, like I said, I only went down his Instagram a little bit. I'm absolutely not an expert in his art at all. It seems to me that he works in multiple mediums, and he works on large canvases. So that is something that is to take in, that you should that I take into account when I'm looking at this deck. Some of these details seem really small, like these trees here. The line work is very fine on some of them, and I think it's because they have shrunken the images way down, you know. This deck feels like fine art in a deck to me. Like this is something I would see on the walls in a art museum or even in a art gallery. When I first saw it, I was floored. I was like, whoa, like this is wow, you know. I love Jenna Della Grattaglia's artwork. I am not trying to take anything away from it. It's beautiful. I have quite a few. I have 3 decks of hers in my collection and 1 on pre-order. So I do like her artwork. But there's just something about this that is just very different. If you're looking for diversity, you're definitely going to want to go with Wild Woman Rising because it's much more diverse than the Divine Nature. As far as diversity in skin tone, diversity in culture, I'm not. There's more diversity in this deck than in this one. Are either one of them super diverse? You know, I mean, there are no, no, but you're definitely going to find more in the Wild Woman Rising than you're going to find in the Divine Nature. Also, the Wild Woman Rising, as the title indicates, is all women. So if you're looking for something with some male representation, you're going to want to go with Divine Nature because there's no male representation in Wild Woman Rising. Like actual like people that look male presenting, right? So there's that. Now, as far as the way that I've been using the decks, let's zoom out and we'll kind of talk about the differences in the way that I'm using the decks. And then also something else that I have noticed about the artwork for Divine Nature. So we'll start with Divine Nature. So as far as Divine Nature Oracle goes, I have noticed that this looks to me to be a curated art deck. Now I cannot be sure, but it looks to me as if these images were curated from this artist's portfolio, and then a deck created, maybe created from his own thoughts. Maybe these are the titles of his artworks that are the titles of these cards, or maybe these pictures were created for this deck, but they don't look like they were all done in the same time and space, if that makes sense. For instance, this artwork looks very different than this artwork to me. It looks like it was done for a different time for a different reason. And then this artwork looks very different than this one to me. It even looks like these are different mediums to me. And so that's what makes me think it's a curated art deck. Now, so how have I been using this deck? Well, mostly I have been using it to pull weekly energies and think about that. This is more of a deck because of the artwork here. Like I said, I feel this is very fine artwork and not just fine lines, but it feels like something I could stare at on the wall of a museum for 20 minutes and just really think about what I see there. What do these colors mean? What does this movement mean? I can see so much in these cards. And so I find one card at a time to be enough with this deck. It's quite intuitive. I like to use my intuition when I'm reading it. Yes, I get into the guidebook. I do. But I prefer to use my own intuition with this deck. And I think it actually says in the guidebook that that's how they want you to read it. This is a deck that is meant to me, have you think about ways that you can be better, and you can be more like your divine self. You know what I mean? Like bring out the divine nature within you, and the divine nature within the people that and encourage other people to do the same. So I think that this deck is I don't want to say spiritual, but it's just it's a bigger energy than just like a daily pull. It's something I want to meditate on. I want to think about when I pull one of these cards. I want to sit and really look at these images. I wish that the cards were bigger. I don't know if I said, but these are slightly larger than tarot, and I love this size oracle card. I do. This is my favorite, the slightly larger than tarot. But I wish that these cards were a full oracle size. I do. And maybe even without the borders. I just want the pictures. Now, images like this look so different to me than images like this or this, right? I feel like all three of these feel like they were from a different time and a different place. Like done in a different year, even, you know. And so I wonder, and with a different medium, absolutely a different medium. They're not disjointed. Sometimes curated art decks can feel a bit disjointed, especially with when you're taking old, art that's already been pre-made and then trying to assign meanings to it. I think it's a little bit easier to do with the oracle deck, though, right? Um, but these images, I mean, even things like this, they're just quite deep, I guess. And so it makes me just want to pull one card at a time and really dive into the imagery here and look and see what's going on with these images. What is happening in this picture? What am I not seeing? Because my eyes are bad. So some of it is hard for me to see. And I really wish they were a little bigger. But um, and so that is kind of how I've been using this deck. I don't get too much. I get into the guidebook. I've gotten into the guidebook for some of the cards, but usually I'm pulling one card a week and really looking at the imagery to see what I'm getting from the color choices, what the like even with this one, the texture here, there's texture going down like this, there's texture like this, there's a flower here in the corner, there's water in the background. Like, what am I getting from all of these layers, you know? With the Wild Woman Rising Oracle, this is an everyday deck for me. I use this one. I can pull three, four, maybe three cards at a time, do a mind, body, spirit, do an energy obstacle advice, that sort of thing with this deck. I can take in more of the cards at once. Again, I'll say it again. This deck has more diversity. I love the different types of women we see in this deck. I love the strength of this deck. I think that's why I like it more as an everyday deck, because I can pull power, or the idea of power, or focus power, or how am I going to be fabulous today? How am I going to be my best self? How am I going to be awesome? And then I can think about being like these strong energies on these cards, right? I think of this deck as being more of a fire energy, like a happening right now kind of energy. What can I embody now? What can I do? What can I move? What can I change? As opposed to the other one, which feels um, more air, and more cups, more water. So that's why I like this one for everyday pulls. As far as this artwork, it really is quite gorgeous. Jenna does a wonderful job. Over the years, her art has gotten very strong. Oh, I could do without this spider. I swear I could, but I haven't taken it out because I love the message of this card. But I hate spiders. It's earthy and wild, like it says, Wild Woman Rising. And I like that about this energy. It's an energy that I can look to every day to encompass or to embody. In this artwork, I feel like I can see everything. Everything is presented to me up front. Nothing is really hidden. It's just layered. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. It's beautiful artwork and stunning, evocative. These women staring right into your soul. I love it. But I love this one too. Go Beyond Limits. I love the messages on these cards. Like I said, I can use them every day. I can also use them as a focus of a reading. Um, but this is a deck I can use alone, just for a one card pull for energy of the day, or three cards at a time. Love this one, this Roar card. Love this Harvest the Moon. It's beautiful. I don't know. Harvest the honey. It's beautiful. So yeah, I love this deck. for, but I use it in a different way than I do the other one. Reclaim your soul skin. So that's that Selkie energy, right? Rise again with the scarab. So, it's got those Easter eggs in there, but they're all up front. There's nothing really hidden. It's just layered and you have to find it. So, yeah, that's how I use this one and sort of how I go about the usage of this deck. And this is Wild Woman Rising again. Let's start with the basics. If you're looking for borderless, you definitely gonna want to go with Wild Woman Rising. If you're looking for cards that have bigger themes or more mind, spirit energy, so more internal energies, I would say go with the Divine Nature. If you're looking for something more external, more action oriented, and more fiery, I would say go with the Wild Woman Rising. If you're looking for artwork that you can really sink your teeth into and that feels like fine art in a deck, or even a deck that goes with some of your fine art decks, I would say try the Divine Nature Oracle. Because when I first got this deck, the first deck that popped in, well, the second deck that popped into my mind, because the first deck that popped into my mind to pair with it was another deck that I got with it, which was the mystical, what was it called? The mystical, I have it here, hang on. Tarot of Mystical Moments was the first one that I popped into my head to pair with this because I got it in the same package. But the next one was the Botticelli Tarot, the Golden Botticelli, because this feels like that sort of fine art, fine Italian art kind of situation, especially images like this. So if you're looking for fine art in a deck and you want something, mass market, I would go with this one for me. If this one, Jenna's artwork is also really layered. It's collage and it's layered and it's fun to look at and it's always beautiful, always beautiful. But something about the texture and the color choices in this one, it's wow to me. Look at this one. There was in his Instagram that he talked about salt photography, like salt development of photography. I was completely interested. I went down a whole rabbit hole. I was like, what is this? So I wonder if maybe this is what, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an artist. I can't really comment on that. I can't really review that, but I can say that it intrigues me and it interests me and it sends me into a very heady space. This Divine Nature Oracle does. This is more grounding. And like I said, more everyday. So if you're looking for something more everyday, if you're looking for diversity, you definitely gonna want to go with Wild Woman Rising because this one has hardly any diversity in it, hardly any at all. But if you're looking for a deck with some male representation, you might want to choose Divine Nature. However, there's not that much male representation in this one either, so you might want to go with a different deck altogether there. All right, so as far as this review goes, I think we've covered everything. If you have any more questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer if I have answers for it. And I hope that this was helpful for anyone who is thinking about purchasing them. You have my thoughts. Like I said, those are my own personal thoughts in the way that I've been using them. But if nothing else, at least you can see a side-by-side flip through of them and see how they look. If you want to see full flip throughs with guidebook readings and pairings, like I said, I have unboxings of both of these. I will link them below. And until I see you next time, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps me to grow and it helps me to know that, might be something that people can use. And if you want to see more from me, you can subscribe. I release videos every few days regarding tarot and oracle. All right. So until I see you next time, stay safe, be blessed. Bye.